Ready to rock and roll, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think my camera's all good. Sweet. Just hopefully my phone doesn't die now. Next problem. Hold on, dude. I just didn't want me to be in my room because it looks kind of cheap, you know what I mean? I thought I wanted a bit more of a cool shot for you.
Right. I appreciate that. I appreciate you thinking like that too, you know? Not everybody thinks ahead like that. Some people, especially like people who don't mess with film very much, you know?
Yeah.
It's also another thing that's interesting is like, you learn a lot when you talk to somebody and you ask them questions and stuff when you're interviewing. What people go into, like, this kind of mode where, like, they're just self-conscious about the things they're saying, and I don't want that. I definitely don't want that with you. I want, like, so I think a lot of it has to do with myself, like, how am I going to present this to you as an interviewer? Because the idea of us just having a conversation,
Yeah.
it's organic that way.
Definitely, dude. Just see if I can flip myself around. That's what it was like on that live, what I was just on as well. I was like a bit nervous because you don't want to say anything daft on live, do you?
Yeah, I think I think just you being a kid, like, people like you as who you are, and you're genuine, like, people pick up on that. And people can really tell when you're putting on a show or when you're faking stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's so true.
or whatever, they can tell, you know, people pick up on that.
Definitely, dude.
I've just, you know, you're an interesting guy to me, and I like the stuff that you do. I like what you put out, and I watch every time that I see you put out a video, because they're easily digestible.
Thanks, mate.
Things in a way that's very easy for even people who don't know much about it to understand.
Ah, yes. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you're really good at what you do.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Like, where that all started, tell me who you are and what you do.
Oh, as in the paranormal?
Yeah, just, you know, like, well, as in, like, I guess, like, yeah, like, who you are, like, you tell me your name and then tell me, like, what you, if I were somebody who didn't know you.
Yeah, well, you know, I go by Mythos. Because I needed a name for a paranormal channel. I just wanted to talk about paranormal because, you know, I don't know if it's the same with you, but a lot of my friends aren't into this kind of stuff. And I needed to get stuff off my chest. So I had a Star Wars YouTube channel, which, you know, my interest in Star Wars was dying, I think, along with the franchise. So I needed another outlet to get stuff off my chest. So I created a paranormal channel. And I've always had experiences throughout my life, which my friend knows about and things like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to create a channel and maybe talk about them. That's where that come from. But it kind of didn't end up going that way. It kind of went a different way, which I didn't expect. But I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. But I'm trying to get away from what it started to become now. I want to get it back on track and just be my paranormal channel again, you know. And get out investigating and things like that. No drama. I'm trying to get away from that drama and arguments, dude.
So you believe in the paranormal? You think you had some things happen to you, like that kind of things are interesting?
Yeah, definitely. I have always believed, and the belief, I think, has started to dip over time. You know, because of, you know, you see people lying and faking. So I always think, you know, were the things I was experiencing, were they real? So I'm even now starting to, like, doubt myself. Which isn't good, is it? I don't like to do that. But to be fair, I think it's maybe best to question your experiences rather than just believe them. But a good example was I was out at the weekend and I came away from that investigation thinking, I have got proof. I legit 100% went away thinking I've caught a voice on camera, because at the time I thought it was someone and there was no one there. So I was like, wow, I have caught paranormal evidence. I couldn't believe it. I went home, told my girlfriend, check it out, I have got this on camera. I couldn't sleep, so I couldn't even wait to check out the footage. I just got it straight on there. And then when I checked out the footage, I think I could tell it wasn't a voice. And that alone kind of made me think, because like I say, I believe, and it's kind of been dipping, but I've kind of always like held onto one story. I kind of believe because of this story, and it's what I seen. But using like last week as an example, if I wasn't filming, I would have went away from that 100% believing it was paranormal activity. But because I was filming, went back, checked the footage, I was like, so now I'm even doubting my 100% I believe in the paranormal because of that event. I'm even doubting that now. I went away from it believing it, but if I recorded it, would I have watched it back and gone, So I just don't know where I stand at the minute myself now. That's why I'm trying to get out,
So you're, I don't know, I guess some people, I don't know if like, I guess people think of you as a debunker in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Do you adopt that that kind of title?
Well, a lot of people have said that. And I don't say I am a debunker. And not because they get shit, because some people said to me, no, just say you are. Don't be afraid to say you're a debunker. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's just because my paranormal channel, I guess, is open to all kinds of things. I've just done a few debunking videos. And I mean, I guess I would say, yes, okay, I am, because I can't help myself now. I know all of these people have lied to us, but to still look for more people lying. So I guess the debunking isn't going to stop. But I do want to just carry on and do my own thing away from just debunking as well. But then at the same time, isn't everyone supposed to be a debunker? Every paranormal investigator should be debunking. I don't think there should be a divide, right?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, it's an appropriate tool to have. If you're going to be a paranormal investigator, you have to be prepared to make mistakes and debunk yourself, no matter how exciting whatever happened was. The first thought you have to have is, okay, can we recreate what just happened?
Yeah. And that event that I said was kind of the one I still held on to, I believe, because I seen this. At the time, we were only kids, like, 16 or something. And we weren't even really ghost hunting. We were just going out on a little adventure. And we tried to actually debunk it all the way back then, before I even knew what the word debunk was. Driving the car past the window and the lights going in the window, trying to recreate the apparition that we seen. And we couldn't recreate it. So I was always like, I seen an old lady, But you do have to debunk yourself, definitely, because I don't want to be one of those guys who just claims everything is paranormal.
What was it that... So you've already told me kind of like what made you want to do it. What is it that you're looking for?
I guess kind of, I would love to know if there is another side. Growing up, I've always believed there was. And now I'm starting to doubt it. It's kind of set me on a new journey of discovering it. I want to find out the truth, I just think it would be incredible if there was. And that's what a lot of people have said to me. You're debunking these people because you don't believe. I'm like, wow, no, you have got mistaken. I believe and I want to find out. This is why I'm doing this. I would love it if there was another side.
So is it safe to say that you're looking for the truth?
Yes, 100%. No matter what it is, whether it is the other side, or whether it's the truth in somebody's videos. That's why I keep looking at other channels, but that's why I keep going out myself, because I do want to find something out there, you know. I don't really have any family or anything like that that's passed and made me want to find out if they are still out there. It's just always been a general interest of mine, you know, since I was very small. Has it been that way with you?
Yeah, so I've had, I'll tell you something, I haven't told anybody. I've got some stories that are interesting, but I remember I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom, and I was sitting on the toilet, and I don't know why, but I never got to meet my dad's dad.
Right.
So I never got to meet my grandfather, who I was named after. My name is James Lyle Mitchell.
Right. Very cool. Ah.
Lyle was my father's dad. And, you know, I was curious about it, you know, because I never got to meet him. And I said out loud, I said, Grandpa, like, if you're there, let me know. And the lights turned off and then came back on.
Oh, wow.
Like right then and there. Shit. I scared the shit out of me. Literally, I'm on the toilet, you know.
Especially that age.
Dad. Yeah. I yelled for Dad, and he came back there, and I told him what had happened. And my dad at the time, he didn't really put stock into stuff like that. Or at least, you know, here's his scared child, and he was trying to comfort me. Like, no, it's okay. Your grandfather's gone. He has been for a while. Like, he was just trying to comfort me in that way.
Yeah.
I asked him later about it, like many years later, and he was more interested. He was like, well, what was it that you saw? And I was like, I didn't see anything other than the lights went off and on, you know. And it was like they went off and then they went back on. It wasn't just like a quick flash.
Yeah.
You know, so that really interested me. But the thing is when my mom and my uncle used to live in it, so I stay with my mom and dad.
Right.
They're old and they need me around. And, I grew up in this house, but there used to be another house here before I was ever born, and in that house is where my mom and my uncle grew up, and it's a farmhouse. And so my mom, my grandmother, who I also never met her, she died before I was on my mom's side. She died before I was born. She would like go out and slaughter pigs and milk the cows, and you know, and Grandpa would work in the fields and stuff. And
right.
my mom heard someone walk through, like open the door. They heard the door open and close, and they walked through the house, and then they walked through the other door. And that other door was like right underneath where my mom's room was, and she looked out the window, and no one was there. You know? And my uncle told me a story about he woke up one night, and when he did, his eyes were facing a window where there used to be a balcony.
Oh no.
Standing there.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he was like, well, that's weird, because there was no balcony there.
Oh.
And when they told me those stories, and I told my peers and teachers at school about it was great. And all of them were like, ghosts aren't real, and like, that never happened. So basically they were saying that my mother and my uncle were liars.
Yeah.
I took that. And I knew better. And so I guess one of the reasons why I'm so passionate and adamant about people who fake things and the detriment that they do to people like you or Joe Vitale or any legit paranormal investigator, it makes us all look silly, and I will not stand for that. That's why I took once this documentary started taking the direction it did, and I learned that Kent was full of shit in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
it was like I have to, I have to do my due diligence because this goes against everything I stand for. I thought that there was something happening here, possibly. Now that I've learned all this bullshit you've done, I have to question it, and I question my own evidence too, much like what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good. It's a good point. And about that documentary as well, I've never seen anyone do anything like that before, because I highly doubt anyone would let anyone go to their house, would they? Lee from Really Haunted has had beef with Beardor, and they wouldn't let him go there to check it out, would he? So I was just so shocked to see that he let you go there. It was just amazing, honestly.
So he just expected that I was just another guy gonna make another YouTube video.
Yeah.
He didn't really expect me to dig the way I did.
Yeah.
Because I was there, and it was like I really wanted it to be real.
Oh yeah, of course.
I drove 1,200 miles.
Wow.
1,200 miles from my house to the hotel, plus the driving that it took to get to his house, which either way, I drove 1,200 miles, and the whole way there, I'm like, I want this to be real.
Yeah.
And I was like, but if it's not, then I have to be prepared to expose that, And I get there, and it's like, I'm going to be able to tell within the first, probably hour whether or not this guy is a legit person.
Yeah. You just get that feeling.
People who always have some sort of story, they always got some sort of, I don't know, they'll tell you, I've heard really massive lies from people, and you start learning things. Plus, I dated a liar that was awful,
Yeah.
And I could tell within the first, 30 minutes that this guy had stories, and so that really raised my suspicion, just the way I show in the documentary. But then again, I didn't know the EVPs were there until I got home.
On your footage.
Yeah, I didn't know they were there. I went through everything, lined up all the camera chronologically, and then it wasn't until I cleaned up the audio that these things started sticking out to me. And so I was like, wait, is that there even if I remove this filter?
All right.
Look at it in spectral to see if it was showing up there, and it was. And I was like, this is interesting. And so, I don't know, it just... Yeah, if he had known what I was going to do, he wouldn't have let me come out.
No, 100%.
Yeah, that was, why would I, I'm not going to allow him to know what my true intentions are if he's faking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then I wouldn't have gotten where I am.
So there could have actually been something going on there, but he just took it one step too far.
Yes. Yeah. I would see, that's the thing. And the only reason why I even think the intention is still haunted is because of the voices that I caught. That's the thing where I'm like, I'm hung up on this. And I even had Kenny Biddle, break those down and tell me what they could be, and he just, he's like, I don't hear the things that you're saying you hear. I don't know that these are real voices. He's obviously debunking them. But for me, it's like, I know audio. I'm an audio guy. I'm a band guy. I've been doing audio since I was 15. And so I know how frequency response, I understand microphones, I understand that shit. So that's why I think EVPs are so compelling.
Oh yeah, and that's what I always say as well. If you capture a voice and there's no one there, that is unbelievable. And some things you can take as voices with audio pareidolia, but if you truly capture a voice and you can hear a clear word, to me that's undeniable. I don't know if I've heard a clear word before yet, but I've heard some very convincing things, but most of them, if I close my eyes and listen to them, I don't know what it says. You've gone super robot-y here. I'm not sure if it's me. Super robot-y. Can you hear me? Oh. I can hear you, but it's very crackly. Not sure what that would be.
It's probably some sort of internet issue. Maybe it'll clear up here in just a second.
I think you've gone a bit better there.
Okay. So, I guess do you think fake paranormal evidence does to the field of the paranormal?
Oh, well, it just kind of makes a mockery of it, to be honest. And that's what I'm finding over here in the UK, trying to get out on investigations myself, because there's been some big scandals in the UK of TV shows faking evidence. So now it's become a bit of a joke. Like, if you hunt for ghosts, you're a bit of a joke. They don't take you serious. And you know, what I find in America, people are much more open to, yes, come and investigate here. Over here, it's like, no. Flat out no. Because they just put it into the box of, it's fake. Because of what's happened on the TV shows. So it just makes an absolute mockery of it, a joke of it. And for the real people that are out there trying to find evidence, like, they can get lumped into that category as well. Or they're just jokers. You do what on the weekend? It really makes it look a bit silly, to be honest. To the point where I haven't even told many people about my paranormal channel, because they will say, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we are more open here. Fly. Yeah, I mean, I live in a very blue-collar, farm, rural area.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very, you know, it's all about God and all that.
Ah, right.
Bible thumpers, you know, so.
Oh my gosh.
I believe in God, but.
There's not really much of that here at all. And literally out of the back of this window here is a church. And it's empty. All it's used for is kids' activities and stuff, because there's none of that around here. It's crazy. Different world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to come over here sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my mother's name is Norman. Her last name was Norman.
Right.
Which they came from. Yeah. So, and then the Mitchells, we were actually Scotch-Irish.
Ah.
So I'd like to go over there too.
Yeah.
Ireland and both. I'd love to go over there.
Oh yeah, there's just so much history you can come and check out. It's just unbelievable. And you know,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with me going out now and trying, you know, to do some like history documentaries and paranormal history, reading into the history of places, it just blows your mind, honestly. There's some unbelievable stories from over here, because the date back so long. You know, it's wild.
Yeah. Well, a lot of history. Growing up, I was always into like, you know, like the like England's lore of dragons,
Yeah.
castles, and wizards, and you know, I know it's all, you know, myth, but at the same time, it's like this. I've always been intrigued by that.
Oh yeah.
The history there is so rich, and like you said, it's been around a long time. So, yeah, I've just always been intrigued by that. So, the fake paranormal evidence, like, you know, like, it makes a mockery of it. What worries you? I mean, I know that you said it makes a mockery of it, but what worries you about fake paranormal evidence?
Besides it making a mockery of paranormal in general, what I'm worried about is how it affects people, because of a few people I've been exposing. The people who they have affected have come to me and said, I believed this, they made me believe this, and now I don't know what I believe. I don't know what to do. Was I really speaking to my grandmother, or were they just conning me? And it's how it affects the people. It really hurts them. That really bothers me. That's the worst thing. Yeah.
That's exactly what worries me too, is because these people, they're vulnerable. They're in a state of they've lost somebody, or they really cared about.
Yeah.
They're looking for answers, and when you have somebody that is out there just trying to line their pockets,
Yeah.
and try to exploit you, like that's the part where it's like you're a despicable person.
Yeah.
Because and the fact that they can even go to sleep and at night and not even sit there and think like, am I a piece of fucking shit?
Yeah. Exactly.
My wife needs some new jewelry. I have a car payment. I went on vacation. A number of motivations to just make that money.
And a lot of their excuse is, but we're, what's the word? We're bringing them closure. And I hate that because it's all built around lies. It just really bothers me.
And that's not really closure at all, is it?
No.
Have you ever, or can you think of a time where someone tried to fool you, like whether it be on an investigation, maybe, and maybe not even personally that they tried to fool you? If you do have something like that, that's cool, you can elaborate on, but have you ever had a thing where you were fooled by somebody?
Nothing really personal in real life, no. Nothing I could even think of, to be honest, but it's mainly just been all online, watching things. Because I'll tell you one thing from when I was a little kid, super young, I used to see things. I used to see horrible, terrible things. And I legit, because I was a kid, thought I was seeing these things for real. Because, basically they were hallucinations. But with hallucinations, you physically see things. So I thought they were real. I thought I was looking into the other side. So then when I seen TV shows, there's a guy on there who can speak to the dead. He can see into the other side. I was like, wow, he's like me. Whoa. And then he comes out as fake. That hurt. Because it's like, wow, no, when I was little, and even when I grew up into the teenager, I still believed it. Because I seen these things. Like, it's not like your imagination because you've physically seen them. But obviously getting older now, I realised, okay, yeah, when the doctor was saying they were hallucinations, they were hallucinations. But as a kid, I thought I was seeing these things from the other side. There's people on telly saying the same thing. I thought that was real. And then when those mediums on telly came out as fake, that really hurt. But it was kind of good because I now know I really wasn't seeing those things, and I'm glad about it. But that's one I can think of what hurt. Yeah.
Irony, though, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic, yeah.
But luckily, I haven't seen those things since I was a kid. It doesn't happen anymore. I'll tell you one thing, though, why it did happen is when I get hot. When I used to get super hot as a kid, started seeing things. When I get super hot now, I have nightmares. So it kind of must be still there, but they're not coming out in front of me.
It's almost like a hallucination.
Yeah.
You ever have that where you get so sick and you start seeing things that aren't there because your brain is so hot?
Yeah, it must have been the same situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember one time I was so sick I saw penguins in my house.
Oh.
I know, right? I saw them and I was like, that's not real. I was really sick.
That is not cool.
Yeah, and that was when I was like, I was on my own, like 20-something years old, and I just remember being like so sick, and I saw that and I was like, that's bizarre. I knew it wasn't real, but anyway, I was just like, I've never experienced something like that. I haven't experienced it since either.
You definitely weren't smoking anything.
Well, yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit. It hurt. So when you realized that these people were fooling you. It hurt.
Oh yeah.
Now think about a time, and this can be personal because I know it's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
Where you learned that there's someone in your life that has broken your trust. Can you tell me how that feels?
Well, obviously, yeah, it just hurts as well, doesn't it? You know, it's like cuts deep, like, because it's hard to trust people, isn't it? So when you put that trust into someone, after maybe someone has already broken trust with you and it's hard to trust again, when you trust another person and they break that trust again, that's super hard. Especially coming from someone who doesn't really have loads of friends, because I just like to keep a tight circle. When one of those close friends does that, that's a bit of a killer. Pretty crazy.
The same way. I'm the same way. I don't. I have a tight circle.
Yeah.
People that I allow in my life because I know I can trust them.
Hmm.
And luckily, I've been pretty good about determining that those people are worth keeping around. But when you find someone new, and you're like, oh, this person seems like they're on the level, and you give them a chance and you start developing a relationship with them, and then, you know, they're in your girlfriend's inbox trying to hit her up.
Oh, cheeky.
You know, any number of, yeah, right. It's like, oh, you know, like,
That's how we're playing.
one of those.
Yeah. Fuck you. I'm just checking out my light here because I've just looked on my camera and I've seen it's off behind me. Oh, breaking my heart here.
Your camera went off?
My light.
Oh.
It's definitely, I think it's died.
Fucking Yoda-sized Sith lightsaber there.
Yeah. Oh man. I want the video to be consistent lighting for you. I think it's fucked.
Alright, you're alright. So how do you, let's say you're working with an audience, how did you feel if someone, like, someone you work with gets accused of faking, and it's actually true, right?
Hmm.
How do you think that would affect the way people look at you?
Well, that's a funny question actually, because I'm literally working on a video about being guilty by association, because I do believe it is a thing. Because when I click on someone's channel and I see they've worked with someone who I know is a faker, I'm instantly like, my trust is already with that person. So I am like, knowing that myself, that I think that, I'm going to try and be like very careful who I work with, you know, just in case. Because in the future, if they come out as fake and my face is all over their channel, that's not going to look good, is it? So you just got to be careful.
You said guilty by association. You didn't do anything, but the way that the public looks at it,
Yeah.
especially those who are very skeptical, first thing they're gonna do is like, oh, well, this person fakes, so you're a faker.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I know people who've dealt with it. Why do you think people falsify paranormal evidence?
Well, if you watch videos out there of people trying to really capture evidence, not a lot happens. Which, in the commenters' eyes, they say it's boring. And you are not going to grow, really. Or it might be rare for someone to grow who is really trying to capture paranormal evidence, because the videos aren't exciting. Like the TikTok generation now want it now. Quick, hard-hitting videos. So if you watch a lot of the channels who fake evidence, that's what it is. There's things happening all throughout that video. Hits here, hits there to keep them engaged. It's all boils down to views, watch time, and money. So that's all I think, really. People have got to do it to get views and grow their channel.
Yeah.
Or TV show to get the next season. You've got to up the ante. If nothing's going to happen, are they going to renew your TV show?
Let's say you're face to face with somebody who fakes evidence. What do you say to them?
Say, look, sorry, buddy, but I've got this on video and it's going online. There's not much else to say. And if they don't like that, there's nothing. Well, you shouldn't have really done it in the first place. That's all I'd say. I guess that's why fakers probably wouldn't hang about with people who do debunking videos, though, because they know they're going to either get busted or they're not really going to be able to do anything at all, and they're going to be on the best behaviour. But yeah, all I would say is, sorry, buddy, but I've just seen you doing that. I'm going to have to show it off and keep you out of my thumbnails.
Think about some other things here, because my questions are very general. The questions that I'm asking you are the same questions that I've asked the debunkers and the other paranormal investigators, because, like you said, people look at you and say, "Oh, well, you debunk things which I don't believe."
Yeah.
My idea is to let all of you tell why you became a paranormal investigator and what it means to you, because it turns out that y'all are giving me the same answers.
Yeah, basically. We want to find the truth.
And I want to highlight that. And this, what it is now, the documentary is no longer about Kent Burris.
Yeah.
It's about all of you.
And
the people watching and the people that are affected.
Cool.
And I think, the people that are affected, you talked about it a little bit more. Can you elaborate to a degree about, what fake paranormal evidence does to those people? You've got people who invest, because there's the charisma of the person they're watching, or the guise of, oh, he's just some helpless old man, and he's not that smart, but he doesn't know how to do these things. They don't know the person.
Yeah.
And they think they know him because they watch their videos. That in and of itself, it's a show. They're only being shown what that person wants them to see.
Exactly.
Can you elaborate a bit on how fake paranormal evidence affects people looking for answers, looking for closure, looking for some sort of truth?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out to me to tell me their stories, and a lot of them do hurt even reading them, just because it's all so personal. That's what really hurts. If it was just some story they might have heard about it, oh, that was sad, that happened, but because it's them saying they did this to me, they said this to me, and then it turns out to be, it wasn't truthful. It's just crazy. And just one example, some self-proclaimed psychics were practicing their skills on a family, and I don't know why they went down this direction, but they started saying, we've got this haunted box. It's got a demon in. And I can't remember the exact details why it ended up at this family's house, but they needed to look after this box. And these people, by the way, believed in demons and things like that. So they've still got this box now. I can show you photos. And they were terrified of this box because these psychics said, what's inside it? It needs to be at your house. You need to take care of this. Do not ever open it. They were literally like terrified. I mean, like their lives revolved around this box. It's insane. And after this psychic couple now have come out as fake, I was saying to them, you need to just forget about this box. It's all been a story, what they've told you, just as practicing their skills on you to go on to use this on other people. And they've still got the box. It's affected them that much. Even though they know these people are now a fake, they're so scared of this box with an apparent demon in, they won't get rid of it. And it looks the part as well. These people dressed it up to look horrific. And that's just one story how some lies have affected someone's lives, where it's been revolving around this. It's just insane.
And those people don't deserve that.
No. There's another story. There's one which is absolutely terrible, brutal. And I've pinned this story in one of my videos just to highlight it. But when a few people come out as fake, although I guess it's not 100% fake, but everyone believes it's fake, a lady's child who believed in all of this, when they found out it wasn't fake, they actually took their own life. Yeah. Because of that belief is just being shattered. It just literally broke them. That just blows my mind. That's the worst story I've seen. It's actually led to death. Someone lying.
Yeah, that's...
And when I've told this story before, Jimmy, I've had emails threatening lawsuits to not talk about it. So I don't know whether you really want to talk about this one, but you can go into the video and see the comment. Check it out for yourself. But because you're putting this blame on them. No, it wasn't me. The mother said that's what the child said. The child took their own life. It's insane.
Yeah, that's... I think I'm safe because it's very vague in ways. There were no names mentioned when you said it, so I think what you just said is extremely powerful, and that definitely helps. Like, it helps push my message.
Yeah.
Take that chance. I'm obviously not afraid to put stuff out there, you know. Like I said, I'm not afraid. That's the thing. I wanted to sit down with Kent for a final interview. I felt like, you know, here are all these accusations. Here are all of these things that people were saying. You know, it's only fair for you to speak on it. You just wouldn't do it. You won't do it. I think that speaks volumes about the situation in itself, you know.
Yeah.
I tried telling him, I was like, look, like, it would be in your best interest to sit down with me and talk about these things. And he seemed to think that was some sort of threat. I don't think that sounds threatening.
No.
You know, I'm being truthful. It's in your best interest to talk about these things, because he's under the impression that the only people that are going to be watching this are people who knows who he is. I've had countless comments of people that are like, I've never heard of this story. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
You know, so he's very, you know, really, I think right now his channel and him, like, he's kind of tapering off now, especially since I put out my documentary. He's very much just stopped posting things. He did do a response. He did 2 response videos. One was on Facebook, And there he openly talked about me and my name and who I was.
Right.
People that already knew who he was, and he knew that these people that he was talking to had his back.
Yeah.
But and I mean, I covered that video, but I ended up hiding the video because I didn't want my channel to be based around drama.
Yeah.
I might put it out again, but really, the only response that he did on YouTube was talking about the Lamb House where he lives being the funeral home.
Yeah.
I flat out know that it wasn't.
Yeah, I've seen.
And his response, like, basically it was like, oh, well, the Edmund Lamb undertaking rooms was at 1 North Main Street, or 1 North Main Road, and then he's like, and I live on Main Street. He's like, you know that, but his address is like 308 East Main Street.
Right.
And it's not the same at all. And the thing is back then, the highway system that we have now didn't exist.
Right.
They would call the main road was the road that went from this big town to the next big town. That's how they called them, and that's where all of the businesses would be.
Right.
So after the highway system was put in, a lot of streets changed their names, you know, and it's not even a for him it was like this is a permanent answer to what Jimmy's accusing me of, and people still believe it and eat it up because
Yeah, of course.
once you give a charlatan power over it, you hardly get it back.
Oh no, 100%. They don't want to admit they've been fooled.
Right.
They don't want that feeling of I've been lied to.
Exactly. It shatters their paradigm. And that's the thing. I've become this villain.
I know that feeling.
It's like, yeah, and it's like that's not at all what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people, but y'all think that this guy is some sort of messiah, and he's really just some guy that's he's a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
And they accuse me of that.
And you know the crazy thing? Back in the day, I believed his videos as well. Was because of the subtle voices where you could hear his name and things like that. I was like, wow, this is legit. And at that time, I didn't, know people were faking. So I kind of just thought people just uploaded their videos. And then when I started seeing those shadow figures and things, that's when I was like, really? And so when I seen you break apart those, that was awesome.
Thank you. I just saw those. One thing that's really clever about him is he's doing magician's tricks in a lot of ways, where you are focusing on what he wants you to focus on.
Yes.
And all of the telltale signs about how it's done, the rest of the video, if you just know what you're looking at, if you pay attention to him, like I said in my breakdown, he's giving away all of these things that he doesn't even realize. But because you're so focused on what he wants you to focus on, you can miss it. And I don't know. I don't hate the guy.
Disappointed.
He was very likable. He has that. It's like I said, like when you meet him and he talks to you like you've known him for a long time, you kind of feel that.
Yeah. You could see that in your video. He did seem like a cool guy who you could just hang out with.
Yeah, and so then like that's the thing, right? Like I get there and it's like, of course I'm skeptical of him. I'm still throwing him a bone, like while I'm there. I'm like, I was like, I won't be able to really know if this is all fake unless I don't find anything.
Yeah.
If I don't find anything at all, then I'm going to be left with this guy is just full of it. But once I started hearing the EVPs and that shadow that I captured, which you know, I didn't know what to think about all of that. It was like the voice is like that. I mean, I remember when I heard that, it was like my stomach.
Freaked you out.
Yeah, this is interesting. There's something here going on. And then once I started talking to David and learned all the stuff that he put David through, I'm like, why would he do this? Why would he fake these things?
That's what I was just. Was that the guy with the gravesite?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to mention about the part that affected me the most of, you know, bringing other people into it. You're not just putting out videos. He was making it personal then, affecting those people's personal lives. I just thought that was a bit too far.
Yeah, definitely. And then when David realized what was going on, and he started outing Kent.
Yeah.
Started a smear campaign about David's a liar, he's on drugs, so is his wife. And now they live in a small village, 2,000 people or less. So everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest of the world, a lot of them don't know what small town life is. You know, they don't realize that David Sears' family lived in this town for generations. And he doesn't have a reputation of being a drug addict person, bad seed or anything like that. His people know who he is. They like him. They liked his family. They know he's a hard worker. He lives in the woods in Maine in a house that he built with his own 2 hands.
Damn, that's cool.
No drug addicts are going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, not, you know, especially the drugs that he accused him of.
Well, that's what these people do, just try and destroy your character. To say, like, look at what this crazy person is saying about me. Can you believe him? That's what they do. I've seen it with every person. It's a common tactic.
Right. Trying to get ahead of the lies.
Yeah.
To get ahead of, well, if I can accuse him of this and this before all this other stuff comes out, well, they're just trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And it's a panic grab at whatever, and it clearly shows what his scruples or his morals are.
Exactly. Low.
I should say.
No.
Anything else you want to add or touch on?
I'm not sure. I think we've hit the spots, mainly like how it affects people. That's what I was wanting to talk about, because that's the most important part, isn't it? You know, how these fakers affect people. That's what really, you know, gets me going, to want to kind of hunt them down.
That's and I don't know if because I have another documentary right now we're in pre-planning. So it'll be with Luke again.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
Yeah, he's great. That guy, I met him on YouTube.
Oh, right.
I think I explained that in the documentary. I found him from his, because I was looking for people who were legit. And, he never struck me as somebody who was trying to fake things. And his whole reason was because his dad died when he was a kid.
Yeah, I remember him saying.
Yeah. And that one really gets me emotional.
Yeah.
It really bothers me because Luke has done. I was a very angry, bitter person for a long time, especially after my band broke up and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I met Luke, and that's when my self-help journey started.
Right.
And he's very much somebody he's extremely valuable in my life, and I love the fuck out of that dude.
Yeah. So what's the next thing you're working on with him? Can you say?
Yeah. So it'll either be the Monroe House.
Oh.
Which is only about 2 hours away from where I live.
Oh boy.
So it's closer.
Yeah.
Closer. There's also a place called Whispers Estates.
Right.
That one could be a little bit more along the same kind of thing where, because there's so much controversy around whether or not that place is real. So I thought about maybe doing that one. But that's the thing. My documentaries aren't. I have no one particular idea. You can't put too fine a point on what you're doing when you're making a documentary because it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So if it's real or if I come to the conclusion that things are real, and that's what the documentary is, that's fine. People do like the drama of, oh, this isn't real.
Yeah, true.
Like drama. People like drama. So I'm like, well, should I go to Whispers Estates instead? Because that's in Mitchell, Indiana. It's not. Again, it's only about 2 hours away, so it would be more reasonable. Because then, if I need people, I can just drive 2 hours and go get it.
Yeah. Good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you like to see the opening of episode 3?
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Very cool, mate. Very cool. And Crow made an awesome point there as well, yeah. That's just crazy, isn't it? Because people are so used to this movie scare. They don't care if it's fake. I've seen that so many times. I've had comments like that. I know they're fake, but I don't care. And I'm like, what? I just can't believe it. You're literally being lied to. And you don't care? Because it's entertaining. It gave me a scare for an hour. I've got a free 45 minutes on the night after I've put the kids to bed. I don't care if it's real or not. I had a good time. It's wild.
Yeah, and I mean, I battle with that to a degree because
hey, let's go.
There was this guy that I had reached out to before I went to Kent's house because I was reaching out to find people that had been there. And
Right.
talk to them and kind of get a vibe.
Mm.
And this guy, he was way into Kent, and at that time I didn't know what the documentary was going to be.
Right, yeah.
So then, after the documentary, the second episode comes out, I reached out to him and I was like, hey, what do you think? I don't think that's the documentary you should have made. He's like, I believe Kent. I think Kent's real.
Oh.
I talked to him a bit, and, yeah, but I mean, he was faking things. And he's like, listen, let's just say he is. Who cares?
Hmm.
What does it matter? Who cares if it's fake? And I'm like, you are just as bad as he is.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, I battle with that because it's well, not everybody may be, I think some people are just after people, but that's fine if that's all you want. But when it comes to something like what Kent's doing, where he's affecting people, and you flat out seen he had David digging holes.
I know.
Looking for his dead relative. That is fucked up, and if you can't see a problem with that, then you are just as bad as he is.
That's just pure evil to mess with them like that. And did he plant the bone as well? Was that what happened there?
Pretty positive.
Yeah, that's just horrendous.
I never said it because I didn't, I have no proof.
Yeah.
Of the viewer. Trial of the people, because the thing is, what tells me that yes, he did plant those bones is the fact that he brought that cross out.
Yeah.
He had that cross in the car waiting. He knew how that story was going to end.
Already sketched out.
Yeah, and you can see whenever he brings the bones out, he makes sure that the camera behind him sees those bones. He was aware of the camera. So to me, yeah, I mean, as an investigator, those are the things that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And when you're calling yourself an investigator, some people will just throw whatever title on. I don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
Investigation means just that. You don't stop with, I investigated the house and I found this. It's that's great, but as an investigator, you need to investigate the person making the claims. Investigate the lore that they're telling you. It's your job. If you're going to carry that title, take it seriously. Don't just be like, oh, that's something cool. I get to call myself in front of people.
No, that is a good point, yeah. You've got to really dive deep, not just take things at face value, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.